I love it. Little inspirational music for you on a Friday morning. Good morning. Right here above us, you can see exactly what this show is all about. The Real Monica Adams, all about bringing you positivity and hope and inspiration, excitement heading into a weekend. You're looking for something to do? I've got something on tap for you that's going to be art imitating life. And you see in the description today that we're talking about acceptance in life. And when life takes you in another direction, how do you dust yourself off, get back on that path, and continue on the journey that you were meant to be on? We're going to talk about that today after we feature a 5-time Tony Award winning musical that's playing right now at the fabulous Fox Theater. And we actually have someone local that's in it. Brandon Springman's going to be my guest in just a little bit. And he's from Alton, Illinois. If you're looking for something to do this weekend into next week, maybe you and maybe a date night out, or maybe this is what you introduce your kids to. Because I will say, after seeing it, I think it's a really great one to take your younger kids to, because it's them in high school and you know what they deal with in high school. In fact, we're going to talk to a high schooler here in just a second with our weather, but it is when you have and maybe a life altering disease, or you've got something that just takes you down in a certain way. How do you overcome? That's what we're going to talk about today. We also are going to give you a little news you can use. We like to also start with some of the news that's going on a national basis. So we'll sprinkle those things in throughout the next hour: national, local, regional, sports news, what's happening on this national day of calendar. And then, of course, you always need to know in our immediate area, we like to take care of those in the Missouri, Illinois area, of what's happening weather-wise. We're going to do a segment that we call What the Weather, but for those of you that are outside of our area, just stick with us for a second, because the rest of the show all has to do with you.
Good evening from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is a beautiful one.
Yes, what the weather. And I don't have him here in St. Louis, though. This is our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, right now in Memphis, but you are on your way to Mississippi, right?
Yeah, Mississippi for the Southeast Severe Symposium tomorrow.
How very cool is that? Well, you're in Memphis, and you and I had texted about this, but we haven't had a chance to mention it yet. I told Beckett that my father went to high school with Elvis Presley, and then your dad has a connection too?
Yeah, he would be like driving to school or just driving down Elvis Presley Boulevard, I think is the name of the road now, and see Elvis in his yard, riding his horse and doing all sorts of things, riding his motorcycle down the street. So that's pretty cool, yeah.
I love that. And that was actually in like the Tupelo, Mississippi area, wasn't it?
No, this was
That
Memphis.
was in Memphis. Okay. All right. So yeah. So there, see, we were always meant to have a connection. That's
Yeah.
just the craziest thing. Well, I am listening quietly to the birds singing behind Beckett and thinking that hopefully the same thing applies here in St. Louis. I haven't stepped outside yet, but I'm hearing that we don't really need the jackets here, which is nice, and that we're hoping for somewhat of a good weekend, but I think we're going to have to dodge some rain. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's going to be extremely nice today. Then we do have increasing cloud cover as we head into tomorrow. And then, of course, a severe storm threat on Sunday night.
And I want to talk right after Beckett does the weather about yesterday's home opener. A lot of people missed the Clydesdales coming out. I'm going to mention that in just a second, but there was a deluge of rain, but a lot of the meteorologists had said that was going to happen, and still being able to get the game in.
Yeah, and I don't think they told people that the Clydesdales were going out either. So, but
And
yeah,
that's such an opening day tradition. It's like, hello, they want to see it.
yeah,
I know. You'll see that there
exactly.
were a lot of empty seats in just a second. Okay, well, as he said, we've got a lot to talk about weather-wise, so Beckett, take it away for us.
Yes, so looking at the current conditions right now in St. Louis, we got a temperature of around 63 degrees, and we're only going to be warming up from there. Now, tonight, or the hourly forecast for today, we are going to be warming up into the 70s. So by noon, we're around 77. Very nice day ahead of us and sunny skies. Tonight's forecast, we do get increasing cloud cover, mostly cloudy, but still a temperature of around 80 degrees at 5 p.m. 8 p.m. 72, and then 10 p.m. 69 with cloudy skies. And we're going to keep those cloudy skies into tomorrow. Cloudy at 8 a.m. 64, 12 p.m. 66, and then as we head into afternoon, warming up to around 70, but keeping with those cloudy skies. And then here, looking at the extended forecast, 68 degrees on tomorrow for our high, cloudy skies again. And then on Sunday, that's when we do have the severe weather threat with a high of around 70. It's going to be in the afternoon and evening. Clusters or lines of storms are going to come through. The main threats are going to be hail and damaging winds. A few tornadoes are possible, though. Monday, we have a high of around 50. Again, cooling down after the storms come through. 58 Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, we're going to have a rain chance. Thursday, cloudy. And then Friday, mostly cloudy as well. So not the best weather week ahead of us. We're going to have to deal with a couple severe storms. So enjoy today for sure.
And hopefully you look there on the bottom of the graphics he puts together, because that is where you can follow Beckett on YouTube and on X, where he is very active and letting you know. Are you going to be dropping in stories about what's going on in Mississippi this weekend?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. And then when are you all heading back?
We'll be heading back on Sunday.
Well, I hope you have a safe trip back. Looking forward to talking to you on Monday and giving us a full rundown of what took place.
Thank you. Sounds good.
All right, Beckett, enjoy that beautiful weather. It sounds amazing there.
I will.
All right, that's Beckett Moore, again, aspiring meteorologist, and always giving you the beginning of our show with the weather that you need to know before you head out for the weekend. All right, I wish I could play the music, but because of copyright reasons, you all can hum it in your head when you would see these guys or gals coming out for opening day for the St. Louis Cardinals. And yes, they did yesterday, but as I mentioned, a lot of people evidently upset and dropping in a ton of comments about how they did not get a chance to see them because there was a rain delay, as many of you know. During that rain delay, people were running to the restroom, running back and forth, and then all of a sudden it's like getting close to 2:30, and all of a sudden they come out and people are rushing. And in fact, some people were saying that they were jumping over rows of seats to try to get a glimpse of the iconic Clydesdales. So feel free as you're signing on to drop a comment in if you were one of them that were in the stands. If you are absolutely frustrated by the way it all kicked off, a lot of people like to be negative in social media, which I absolutely hate. Instead of just saying, oh, they're so majestic, they're gorgeous, you had a mixture of that. People saying, go Cardinals, hoping they have a good season. Other people saying, what happened to Jose? You guys were rude to Jose. Other people going off saying, I can't believe this is the way you start a season. I mean, again, the negative balance, the positive balance of life. Mine, I would have said, again, what I see on the screen. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Yes, there was a rain delay. Things happen. Move on, folks. I've got a great story for you of what happened and played out for the rest of the game. But a lot of you had a chance to go down. You either went to the game, maybe you went down to Ballpark Village, because again, just going down for opening day festivities alone from 10:30 in the morning to the big parade, the delay, but then the game itself all played out. And in the end, it's the positive side that we want you to focus on, right? So here's what happened. The Cardinals did open the season with a win. Did you watch it? Jim, when I came home, was watching. I probably missed the first maybe 2 or 3 innings, but I said, and this was the headline that I pulled, I was surprised that it didn't say Newt Bar. And I'm going to show you something also that you're going to want to get ready to do. You might want to stretch out a little bit because you're going to need to do it when you go to the Cardinals games. But this particular picture is St. Louis Cardinals Nolan Arenado. He hit a solo home run during the 8th inning of the game against the Minnesota Twins, again, where the Cards came out victorious. But I truly believe that the story of the game was Lars Nootbaar. He homered. Sonny Gray pitched 5 solid innings. And again, the Cardinals beating the Twins 5-3. Now, Nolan Arenado also went deep late in the game for the Cardinals. Harrison Bader hit a 2-run shot for Minnesota against his former team. But Lars Nootbaar slammed that 2-run drive in the 2nd inning to stake the Cards to a 4-0 lead. The Cardinals bullpen gave up just 1 run over 4 innings. Ryan Hensley earned the save. Bader played parts of 6 seasons with the Cardinals, by the way, from 17 to 22. He homered off Gray in the 5th to cut it to 4-2. Made it exciting, right? Nolan turned down a trade to Houston in the offseason and took a curtain call for the sellout crowd after his home run in the 8th pushed the lead to 5-3. So congratulations to the Cardinals. And again, I know some of you are frustrated and they've had an up and down season over the last few years, but come on, can always turn the leaf. They're calling it a reset season. And this is what I said. You better stretch out because here's what you're going to be doing. You probably all know. If you were in front of me, I would ask you, did you see it yesterday? A lot of this. The birds are flying. Will they have an incredible season? I hope so. Before we continue on, let's see if anybody was down there. Any comments that you want to make? Marty just said off to play golf with Beckett and his grandpa on this beautiful morning in Memphis. Have a wonderful one, Marty. Linda, Newt got them going. I know, right? I'm surprised that everybody's not talking about Lars Nootbaar today. Exciting game to watch. Did you watch it on TV or did you go down? I know Jenny, my assistant, she went down with her family. She was asking me, where should I take the girls, even though they weren't going to the game? And I was like, all day, go down to Ballpark Village. Just walk around and you'll see so much excitement. I hope you follow our social media on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, on X. We were dropping in a bunch of stories yesterday while Jenny was down there, and she ran into some of my old colleagues from Fox 2. Maybe you saw that. John Pertzborn was down there, Margie Ellisor, Angela Huddy, and obviously the big Fox 2 gang. They all used to go down. We used to just sit down there for hours signing autographs, taking pictures. Definitely one of my favorite things in my broadcasting career. So, John, good to see you through the eyes of Jenny yesterday. Good morning, Linda and Julie, another Julie, Rose, a new day, many possibilities. Good morning. I like that. Yeah, the Cardinals win, and then we're going to get to the Blues in just a second. Great day of St. Louis sports for sure. This all is a true story. She said it was absolutely nuts. Had to watch on TV, but glued to the screen. That was the other negative thing that a lot of people were saying. I wish I would have been able to see it, but with blackouts and all the issues going on with Major League Baseball TV, some people weren't even able to watch it at all. So that's where the frustration comes into play. But again, let's just end with the positive side of the Cardinals. 5-3, Cardinals beating the Twins, and now the season is officially underway. Okay, now other news you can use. Frito-Lay is recalling Tostitos tortilla chips in 13 states. So I was checking to see if this affected our immediate area. Not in St. Louis per se, and not for our immediate Illinois area, but I do want you to know, maybe some of you, as obviously, you're traveling just like Marty and Beckett are, that you go into another area, you don't want to pick one of these up. Frito-Lay recalling a limited number of Tostitos tortilla chips because they may contain undeclared milk. The company said earlier this week the recall includes less than 1,300 13-ounce bags of Tostitos Cantina traditional yellow corn tortilla chips. The bags could contain nacho cheese flavored tortilla chips, which are made with milk. Frito-Lay said there have been no reported allergic reactions related to the recall. That's good. People with an allergy or severe sensitivity to milk could have a serious reaction, though. If they eat them, they should throw them away immediately. So Plano, Texas-based Frito-Lay, a division of PepsiCo, said the affected bags were distributed to a mix of retailers in 13 states: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Illinois. Okay, so they could be in our immediate Illinois, Southern Illinois area, Indiana, Kentucky, Mississippi, again, not in Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, which again is where Beckett is right now, Virginia, and West Virginia. Consumers would have been able to purchase the chips as early as March 7th. All of the affected bags have a guaranteed fresh date of May 20th. So they've been out there for a little while, and I would hope if anybody had an allergic reaction to that they would have reported already. But sounds like so far they're just trying to do this in advance to make sure that there are no issues. Now, I want to say I wasn't able to put this in because I just saw it a few minutes before I went on, but I do want to thank Jenny. She sent this over to me, kind of like overnight producers that I had, right? A massive coffee creamer recall due to spoilage is, in fact, causing illness. So this one that she sent to me just overnight. So if you count yourself among the many coffee drinkers who prefer their coffee with just a hint of sweetness, coffee creamer may be your go-to grab at the supermarket. But before you pick up your next canister, be aware that there's a massive recall, and this actually is affecting over 75,000 bottles. This is what it is: International Delights Bites Hazelnut and Cinnabon Classic Cinnamon Roll Flavored Creamers. That just sounds unbelievably sweet to me. It's a Class 2 recall initiated after it was discovered that the products in question were spoiled. The company received complaints of illness associated with the affected products. However, there are currently no further details regarding what kind of illness is being reported. The bottles have been pulled off the shelves, so don't worry about that. They're not going to be in the stores in over 30 states, but the affected creamers have the best buy dates of July 2nd and 3rd, 2025. So it's recommended that you check your refrigerator. You can return the products to the place of purchase for a refund or a replacement. Now, while the coffee creamer is certainly cause for concern, it isn't the only recall that's making headlines lately. There was a popular pancake and waffle mix recently pulled from the shelves, a popular granola bar brand. Earlier this week, Girl Scouts were hit with a lawsuit claiming that their beloved cookies contain toxic ingredients. We talked about that. In the year of 2025, the hits really do keep coming and coming and coming. And it's just frustrating, I know, for a lot of you because you keep hearing about this. And I looked back at that because that just said last week, and I thought that sounded like that was old. So this was published on March 14th. So we're talking a couple of weeks ago. It's just more and more and more. So you may have actually already heard about this massive coffee creamer recall or any of the constant recalls, but we'd like to give you the most up-to-date information as we can. This one I looked into, and it's not in our immediate area, but there is one location in Illinois. It is Plainfield, Illinois, though. Kohl's closing stores in 15 states. And the reason I give this to you is we're just going to have to keep an eye to see if it would, in fact, in the future, affect our immediate area. So they're closing a slew of stores. Back in January, they issued a press release announcing their real estate change for this year, revealing the company planned to close 27 underperforming stores. In addition, closing its San Bernardino e-commerce fulfillment center, which of course is in California, coming up in May. Those 27 stores are now officially closing. Their last day of business expected to be tomorrow, according to what I saw on the website for Kohl's. Now, we have some in Alabama, Arkansas, as I mentioned, a lot in the California area, Georgia, Idaho. The one in Illinois is Plainfield, Illinois, which is on South Route 59, and then also Spring Hill, or the West Dundee, Illinois area on Spring Hill Road. And then the rest, again, sprinkled throughout the area, but I did not see any in our immediate, obviously, St. Louis area, but I didn't even see any in Missouri at all. Here, I just love this before we get to our other sports news. Rosie the Riveter. You got to love that picture there on the right. Rosie the Riveter still alive, reflecting on World War II service as she is turning 100 years old. She's a Kansas woman. She made history, of course, by helping build infrastructure during World War II, and she is being recognized as she turns 100 years old. So what is she looking like today? There you go. Rosie the Riveter. I mean, come on. That's Connie, Wichita's own Rosie the Riveter, volunteering at the B-29 dock hangar during the war. And she said, when visitors come and they ask us, and then I tell them that I worked there and they did this and everything is still in order. You know, I always tell them there were 7 rivets missing when it was in the desert. During wartime, women entered the workforce, with many recruited to assemble airplanes for the war. She joined Boeing at 17 years old and became a riveter working on the B-29 bomber. And once the plane was restored, she saw it return to the sky. Isn't she adorable? Rosie the Riveter. Oh, I absolutely have always loved, it's just the strength of women, right? We can do it. And that was her looking at it, answering the call in World War II. I thought that was kind of a cool story for you. All right. We saw it earlier in the comments, but if you didn't, it is the Blues victorious as well. 3-2 yesterday, last night. I mean, literally, when I tell you it went down to the buzzer, it did. In fact, they had to go back and make sure that the time clock said 0.0, that when that goal went in, that it didn't count. Otherwise, that would have been tied up and the game would have continued. But nope, the Blues, I mean, what a great day for St. Louis sports yesterday. The Blues beating the Nashville Predators. The final score was 3-2. So the Blues are back in action. It's actually an afternoon game tomorrow. Blues and the Avalanche at 3:30. And then on April 1st, the Blues will be playing the Red Wings. So that's coming up on Tuesday. They are back in action tomorrow afternoon. And then Tuesday, that game against the Red Wings will be at 7 p.m. All right, I'm a big soccer fan. So if you are a St. Louis City SC fan, and I hope more and more of you become that, if you haven't come to a game yet, you will absolutely love the stadium. I told you, it's just one of the most beautiful I have ever seen. The pre-match preview, it is City SC hosting Austin FC, and they are looking to rebound from a road loss. They dropped their match, if you didn't know, against Philadelphia Union last Saturday, 1-0. It was the club's first meeting with the Eastern Conference side and its first reunion with their former head coach, Bradley Carnell. Again, it is City SC hosting Austin FC, and get to the game if you can. All right, what's on tap for today in our National Day of Calendar? Here you go. It's National Triglycerides Day. Why are we honoring that? Maybe it's just for awareness. National Black Forest Cake Day, National Something on a Stick Day, anything on a stick, and National Weed Appreciation Day. And no, I am not talking about marijuana. I'm talking about evidently appreciating the weeds and maybe what they provide. I'm not sure what they provide for us. Let's do a little social media check-in because we're getting ready to really get deeply into our show today. We've got 21 of you right now on Facebook, 4 of you starting to come on YouTube, 11 of you on X, 1 of you on Rumble. So a lot of these are some platforms we just started over the last handful of months. I want to see more and more of you let people know, or for those of you that are already following on Facebook, do me a favor. We're trying to get another 211 people to follow us on YouTube. Okay, so we've got thousands that end up watching our entire show. If each and every one of you could do me a favor and go right now to the YouTube page where it's over this shoulder, YouTube right there. Click on follow. For those of you that click subscribe, we're going to start giving you extra content that is good to you because you subscribe to us. But for the rest, make sure you click the follow button on Facebook. All of you that believe you are following sometimes say, I don't get the notification. You have to click follow. So let's get our numbers up. And the reason for that is so that we can do more and more exciting things for you on all the platforms. You can see there's only 4 here. Unfortunately, this particular program does not populate Instagram and LinkedIn for us, but we are on all of those platforms. So you find the platform that works best for you, and then we are able to be there for you each and every morning. Kathleen said, good morning from Kansas City. Thank you so much for being with us. And Jenny is again dropping all the information in for you that you need to know. Linda, if you have DirecTV, she says FanDuel Sports had a free channel for the day. They aired it. Made your day. A lot of people get frustrated though, Linda, right? That they have to eventually subscribe and pay for more and more and more. International Delight, Hazelnut, and Cinnabon Creamer recall, Jenny put in there for you. I think the packaging plants need to be inspected better. Very good point. Diane, how wonderful. Happy birthday to Rosie. I know, right? Women power. Yay, Rosie, Rose says. A huge win for the Blues. Thanks for wearing blue, Monica. You're welcome, even if that's not why. Yep, I love my Blues for sure. Okay, as I mentioned, if you can do us a favor, and make sure that you're following. Just check, because a lot of you think that you are, but maybe you are not right now. Check that you are, and then if you want to subscribe for future content, future opportunities to join in a really cool Zoom talk where we come together. We've got a lot of ideas. And again, something new that we started, we will sprinkle in from time to time some national news that you can check out. We'll drop in some sports news, and then we'll drop in some financial news as well. I've got a great interview coming up for you. Brandon standing by. We're going to talk with Brandon Springman, who is again in the latest here in St. Louis adaptation of Kimberly Akimbo at the fabulous Fox Theater. We're going to give props to him from Alton, Illinois. And then coming out of it, I want to say that art imitates life. We say it all the time, right? How does it play out in our world when you are given something like Kimberly Akimbo? If you don't know about it, it's won 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, which is incredible. A lot of people hadn't heard about it, just getting a chance to go and see it at the Fox this week, all the way through April 6th, if you haven't been yet. Again, congratulations to the cast because it's doing really well. 5 Tony Awards, again, including Best Musical. And this is a gentleman that we're going to interview. Brandon Springman is standing by, but what is it all about? Let's check it out. And then when we come back, Brandon will join us.
It's Friday night, there are parties this time, everybody waits this time. We won't include this time. We hit the road. This time we stay on crack. This time we take the prize. This time nobody dies.
Visit the St. Louis Center for Contemporary Design inside our 3.5-acre showrooms at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
Hello everyone, Joe Thomas here with Weingarten Vineyard here. Just had a great day at the set of The Real Monica Adams Show. I think the biggest takeaway and the biggest word for the day for me is passion. You can see with her craft of how passionate that she is to provide a different view from what she had done in her past career, now in a new career. She made today so easy, and it was easy for me as well, because we share that passion for what we do. When it's doing interviews on set, giving a different view on life, essentially, and different experiences for you guys. Today could not have gone better. I most definitely encourage you guys to continue to tune in to her shows, and maybe you'll see me back again. You will see me back again. Sorry, Monica.
And welcome back. Okay, you know I'm a big fan of the arts. We were just talking about getting to the Fabulous Fox. And I got to say, just to kind of go back to opening night, I took my aunt for her birthday, and both of us said the same thing. Every time we walk in, you're just in so much awe of how beautiful the Fabulous Fox is, and to never take it for granted. For those of you that don't know, talk to your parents and grandparents. They used to go there to watch a movie for a quarter, if you can imagine that. I'm going to ask my guest about this because he and the cast of Kimberly Akimbo get to perform on that beautiful stage. Brandon Springman, who is from our area, is our guest today. Brandon, welcome, first of all.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you're from Alton, Illinois?
I am. Yeah.
Born and raised?
Yep. Born and raised. My whole family's still there. So.
Yeah, so they're going to be very, very proud of you and proud of this cast, by the way. So I went there on opening night, but have you ever heard those stories about how people went to the Fox to watch just a regular movie? Like, we take for granted that a beautiful theater, they used to sit there and watch movies there.
Yeah, it's in the 20 years I've been a professional actor, I've never played any theater in the St. Louis area. So to be coming to the Fox as my first time, it's a very sweet homecoming to me. But the Fox, I mean, it's incredibly historic as far as theaters in the country too. It's, I think, the second largest theater in the country, or close to. But
it's stunning.
Yeah, it's incredible. And in the so we have a meeting every week when we get into a new city, and just speaking to movies in the basement of the theater. There's a small room that is a small movie theater, which was so cool. Yeah, and the backstage. Just a fun fact about throughout the country, like the backstage will have wall tags. So each show that comes through will paint something on there and the cast will sign it.
Yeah.
Because the Fox is going to turn 100 in 2029, I think. It is a treasure trove of history back there. I mean, I spent the first night basically walking up and down the stairs, just looking at all the shows that come through. And
all the amazing people. Yeah, if you've never been backstage, by the way, you should do the tour of the Fox, because you just look all over the place of all the names, because everybody gets a chance to sign their names. And you're in awe of the actors and the actresses and the singers that have all been through, and the dancers have been through. And you're like, is that what you did? Like a little kid, like, I'm going to be on the stage of some of the greatest.
It was overwhelming to stand on the stage for the first time, especially because I also grew up seeing shows at the Fox, but not for a quarter. I didn't pay a quarter to see it, but I saw, the ones that are most memorable to me are, I saw The Lion King, and then I saw West Side Story, and it was overwhelming. The first time I was on stage this week, I looked out and I said, oh, yep, that's where I saw Lion King from, and that's where I saw West Side Story from, and it feels like a very full circle moment, and it's a beautiful theater to be at.
It is. And again, so opening night was on Tuesday, but we'll talk about Kimberly Akimbo, which Brandon and the cast do a wonderful job. It will run for you through April 6th. So tickets still available if you want to go to an evening show or a matinee show. And here's the thing about Kimberly Akimbo. So here's what's funny, Brandon. So the people who were sitting right next to me, she looked over and she's like, so Monica, what is this all about? And I said, I only know a little bit about it. And I like that sometimes. You tell me if you feel the same way, that there's some iconic ones like Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera, Wicked. I could go on and on and on. You've seen it. You've heard it. Maybe you've seen it in an adaptation in the theater and the big screen. But then there's some that you're like, wow, this has won 5 Tony Awards. I'm hearing all this incredible press about it, but I don't really know a lot about it. Do you think that's a good thing to go into the theater not knowing and then just let it all play out on stage?
I do. Honestly, that's actually how I love to see shows. I mean, there are, like you said, you mentioned the ones that are so famous it's next to impossible to not know the plot, right? But I think the stuff that they've sent out that summarizes what the show is about is the perfect amount to know going in, because it is an unconventional story, but it's one that has, you saw it, has universal themes for everybody. I mean, it's a really human story. So
It is. And I'm going to tell you what I felt, and then we're going to get a chance to see what Brandon will want you to walk away feeling. But again, Kimberly Akimbo, if you haven't heard about it, winner of 5 Tony Awards. I mean, come on, including Best Musical. And we're talking with Brandon Springman. So Brandon, you play the role of Buddy. And I also want to talk about, like, leading into this, what you've done prior to being able to portray Buddy. So one thing that is actually coming to the Muni, which we're also very thrilled to have in St. Louis. So were you involved in Come From Away?
I was, yeah, I was a standby on the first national tour. Unfortunately, I joined just after they were actually in St. Louis when I was doing my final auditions for the show. So I missed St. Louis when we were through, but it's such a beloved show. I know, that's what I said.
I can't wait for that. That one's, again, and some people will be like, well, what's that all about? So 9/11, and you'll get a chance to see that at the Muni. But also, what are some of the other things that you're very proud of that you've done before coming to the cast of Kimberly Akimbo?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, Come From Away was undoubtedly a touchstone for me in my career, for sure. I mean, taking that story, similarly to taking Kimberly Akimbo around the country, they're both unique stories and have a lot of heart and have been so well received. So it's a joy and it's an honor to do such incredible material. And before that, I lived in Chicago for a long time and did a lot of shows up there. And there's a beautiful theater community in Chicago. I'm trying to think, one of my favorites I'm proudest of is playing Curly at the Marriott Lincolnshire in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a beautiful show. And for those communities up there, not dissimilar to the community in St. Louis, because it's there's a thriving arts community down here too. Mm-hmm. There's a few theaters up there that have subscriber bases, and it was a lovely place to be a young actor and grow my craft and just be able to work and meet incredible people. Yep. So yeah, well, and be so close to my family.
That's the fun thing, right? If people are from here, and we've had a chance to interview a lot of different people that play either at the Muni or at the Fox or stages, or as Brandon said, I mean, we really do have a very vast scene when it comes to the arts. But it's fun when people come back in town and they're like, oh, this is where I'm from. But if you are close enough and you're like, hey, come on, cousins, get over here, watch me on stage. Did your family come to opening night?
They're coming next week.
Oh, next week? Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, they're coming next week, and I'm hoping to get some of my high school buddies out to see. It's so rare, when you live far away. Like I live in New York City now, and any chance that your friends that don't get to see you very often can see you perform, it's a joy to bring the story here and to be close to the people I love, and yeah.
Well, and so let's talk about this. Okay, so Kimberly's about to turn 16 and recently moved with her family to a new town in suburban New Jersey. And in this howlingly funny heartbreaker of a show, according to the New Yorker, that Kim is actually forced to navigate family dysfunction, a rare genetic condition, her first crush, and I just got to tell you, the chemistry between the two of them is just unbelievable, and
Yeah.
possible felony charges. And I don't want to give it all away, but we're going to show you a
Yeah.
picture in just a second. Ever the optimist, she is determined to find happiness against all odds and embark on a great adventure. So, Brandon, I got to say, as I watched it, it kind of had this Benjamin Button feel to it. Can you
Oh,
see,
sure.
see where I'm going with that? Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly follows someone, you know, in spite of what Kimberly is dealing with, she, you know, she has the same hopes and dreams and wants as a 16-year-old without the disease she's suffering from, and I think it's just a reminder overall to make the most of the time that you do have,
Mm-hmm.
in spite of, you know, in spite of whatever comes your way. You take care of the people in your life, and you make the most of the time you're given.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. And we're looking at some of the scenes from this. You know,
Yeah.
there's a baby on the way, so they're filming.
Yeah.
You think of all the VCR tapes that were done for children.
Oh, I know. I know. The amount of time I've spent on the set looking at the props, that there are props that you might not be able to see from the audience, but like all the way on the top of the fridge, it's just like classic things that took me right back to my childhood, which was, you know, I walked onto the set and I was like, oh, I've been in this house before.
Well, let's talk about this cast. I mentioned earlier that the chemistry, well, really, I want to say between all of you, but that kid right there on stage, he just blew me away. I was like, wow, this kid's got quite a future.
He does. Miguel is incredible, and like you said, I'll echo what you said. He and Carolee have an incredible chemistry, and watching, and I mean, the whole cast is so incredible, and we really care about each other, and it's fun. The whole rehearsal process was a joy. To just go, you know, the further it went along, the closer we all got. It's like, oh, you know, how often do you get to work with your good friends, you know?
Yeah.
And to do something so beautiful like the show. But yeah, the two of them at the helm of the show are, it's a joy to experience every night for me as well, you know.
Again, so if you're just tuning in, Brandon Springman is our guest. Again, from Alton, Illinois. I didn't ask, where'd you go to high school?
Alton High.
Alton High. Okay. Even though that's a
Yeah.
St. Louis thing and it goes just outside of St. Louis.
I played soccer against a lot of St. Louis high schools. So
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Soccer
Yeah.
is my favorite sport. So let's run through some of this. The cast, again, that he was just talking about. Carolee Carmelo, who plays Kimberly. Miguel plays, in the original Broadway company of Kimberly Akimbo. Jim Hogan, also, is it Koch or Coke?
Cook.
Cook. See, the KOCH
Yeah.
can be pronounced anyway.
Yeah.
Also been in Wicked. Maybe you saw her in Waitress. Laura played in Wicked. Grace is in this. Sky. I could go on and on and on. Just the cast is not a massive cast. It's the one thing you see as you looked at some of these pictures. But even though it's a smaller cast, they make the stage feel so large because of the command that they have. And please pass that along to them because it's a very endearing story. And again, you know, you're thinking of a teenager going off to high school and looking like she's 50, 60 years old, right? It's this thing of, and they're picking a science project where they're supposed to pick a disease. And that kid, Miguel, is like, well, let's use yours. Like, you know, you're old. And so there's some of it like, whoa, like, don't say that to her.
Yeah, I know. And it's incredible watching Kim as the character navigate all of these things that she's dealing with and be the true driving force of hope and joy and life
Yes.
in this show, you know. And it's the cast, they make it feel so big, but the things that they're feeling are that big, you know. They are as big as the fox. You know, I'm sure we all can remember being teenagers and just wanting to feel seen by people, and all those crushes and how they made us feel and how big it all felt. And then you see how that continues, how impactful having dreams and having hope in life can be.
And then the connection of the rest of the cast as well, right? We're talking about some of the main characters, but there are scenes in there where I was looking and you can hear the applause from the audience where all of a sudden they come out on ice skates. How was that done? I'm like, holy cow.
So It's a special surface.
Okay.
And then beyond that, it's actually kind of just some theater magic that I don't think I'm allowed to tell.
Oh.
I know, but I will say it is a special surface, and the ice skates are real. We are actually ice skating,
I know. I kept looking at that and I said, okay, I
trying to
noticed.
find the wheels.
Yeah, I was trying to find the wheels, and then I was like, okay, well, I can see that it's not the blade. There's a rubber part on it, and I've been on that stage before, so I know that I'm guessing that's what we're talking about. We're not going to give it away. That's what
Yeah,
I thought was playing out, but it is the magic of theater, which just blows you away sometimes, right? You just sit there and go, did that just happen?
it is. It is, and I promise you, the blades are real blades. There are no wheels, and we're actually skating up there, and it's fun. It's thrilling. It's thrilling to do. It's thrilling to do. And in rehearsal, we got a few ice skating lessons
Very cool.
as like our rehearsal day, which was, I felt like a kid. It was, I was like, this is great.
You're like a young fawn trying to find your legs again.
Yeah, truly, truly. Yeah, it was a blast. And it's such a fun, that kind of theater magic. I think also, it just, it makes us all feel like kids because you see that and you're like, I know there's a logical, like a practical explanation for this, but it's fun to not, just to not know how it's happening and just watch it.
Well, and then so give me your take on the character Buddy. So Buddy's the dad, by the way, and you look at, he's got a drinking problem in the beginning, and then it's this come to Jesus moment of Kimberly wanting that family unit. If you watch the show on a regular basis, I'm very big on going back to the table, and I love the fact that they go back and have a family dinner, and it's really all she wants. She wants to feel like a normal kid. She wants to feel connected again, and she wants a normal family. So there's a lot of endearing moments. There's connection. Then you can see the paternal side of, wait a minute, there's this kid interested in my daughter. Like, wait, my favorite scene, by the way, and you tell me if you agree, my favorite scene is right here on the left when they're in the car and flying through. Is that one of your favorites?
Yes. Yeah, it is a blast. It is a blast. It's a blast to do. And, I think this scene is a great like snapshot of Buddy as a person.
Yeah.
Because he and Patty had Kim so young, I think, there are places that they stopped sort of maturing. So you're seeing this guy he really is full of fun and has a huge heart, and he wants to have a good time, and he wants everything to just be okay. And as you've seen the show, they deal with difficult things, and you watch them sort of muddle through, and
Yeah.
and I think it's a great representation of how we're all just doing the best we can here. We're all doing the best to be the best person we can, and sometimes we fall short. But at his heart, he is, and core, he is a loving dad. He just sometimes doesn't know how. He just doesn't know how. So he does it his own way.
But isn't that life, right? I mean, I think you
Yeah.
see yourself sometimes in the characters that are played out on stage, and then talk about the relationship between he and his sister-in-law.
Oh yeah. Well, as you mentioned before, we do find the Lavaco family in a new location at the top of the play, for reasons that you'll find out when you come see the show. But yeah, there is a nice push and pull, a little bit of tension between he and Deborah throughout the show for sure.
Just a little bit, and then
Just a little.
Is Miguel actually playing this?
He is,
I thought
and yeah, so do all of the actors that cover
thought so.
Miguel.
I thought so. I was like, listening to that, I'm like, yeah, that's him. He's got to blow a lot of air into that tuba.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so it's also it's so fun and such a sweet moment to watch them do that.
So those that get a chance to go, and again, tickets are available. Some of you like to go to a midday, matinee, afternoon show. Some of you like to go in the evening, go down for dinner. Again, support the small businesses in that arts district. And then tell your friends, pass it along. Again, in town through April 6th at the Fabulous Fox. What do you, Brandon, want the audience to walk away with? What do you want them to feel and tell their friends to get them to go?
I certainly hope they walk away feeling the urge to take advantage of every moment they have. not just on their own, but like with their loved ones, with the people that they care about. I hope they just leave remembering what a gift it is to be alive, to be a person, and to have relationships with people, friendships, to be able to fall in love. Just that life is a beautiful thing, and it's a gift to have.
It is, and you just gave me a chill, and you almost brought tears in my eyes again. For those that you have been watching over the last week, we lost someone very dear in the St. Louis community. I don't know if you ever had an opportunity to meet or hear of Brian McKenna.
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
If you look through your social media, it's tribute after tribute after tribute. And so Brandon couldn't have said it better. And when you watch this, I truly was thinking about Brian a lot as I watched it play out on stage, of appreciate every second and every moment that you have to make amends with your family, with your friends, because life is so precious, and you don't want someone to be taken, whether it's a long illness, whether it's something like what Kimberly has, or it is tragically, as we lost Brian, that suddenly that person's gone and you didn't make amends with it. So if this show can help you live another level, if Brian's death can make you live another level, then the death is for nothing. We don't want it to be, right? We don't want him to have gone and be like, well, why did that happen? And you don't want to sit there and watch this play that they're trying to teach a lesson, as well as make you laugh and then make you cry a little bit. When they leave and it comes to another show, it's what was the message there? So yes, we're being entertained, but every time I go to something, Brandon, whether it's at the Fox, the Muni, etc., it's always, what did that give me? What did they want? What were those actors trying to do for me? Because again, you're putting in your blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, and it's truly also a testament to the writers
Yep.
of all the shows that come through, and particularly, David, Lindsay Abair, and Janine Tesori on this piece. They both are truly gifted at tapping into so many human experiences, but really, 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 their messages in this show are so beautiful, and the characters they've written are so rich and full, and you get to see them all living the full human experience. So it is. And the best way to carry someone with you after they've gone is to live your life to the fullest, because that's what everyone wants for the people they care about, is to be happy and have a life full of love.
Very powerful. Again, it's Kimberly Akimbo. So already underway at the Fabulous Fox. Again, the winner of 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. If you have not seen it, grab your friends, maybe make it a date night out and see the cast, including Brandon Springman from our own area. Very, very proud. Before we wrap up, what's next on the docket for you?
Ooh, next on the docket. Well, I'll be continuing with this, and then we're going to be here for another week, which I'm excited for, because I'm excited. I haven't been to St. Louis and been able to explore. So I know we have opening day coming up for the Cardinals. So that's the most immediate thing on the docket, is trying to get down to Ballpark Village and catch some of the excitement, Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you the best. I'm so excited that everybody gets a chance, hopefully, to see this before it leaves town. And I thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon.
Oh, thanks for having me. And it was such a joy to chat with you.
All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. We've got more of the show. We will also tell you what's coming up this weekend and what's on tap for next week. We'll be right back.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
At 7:49, I want to welcome and thank each and every one of our sponsors, whether they are with us every month or they book us to do a mobile Monica show, which we absolutely love, taking the show on the road. But this is also one of our newer sponsors. This is Wine Girl. You can go to shopwinegirl.com, or we have a specific link that you can just click on. If you go to Wine Girl, shopwinegirl.com, and you forget to go to the dedicated link, you can just go to the discount. When you go to check out, make sure you put a discount code in, and it is TheRealMonicaAdams, and you can find anything for yourself or for someone on your present list. They have the cutest clothes, the sweatshirts, the t-shirts now as we are transitioning weather. They've got the cute trucker hats that everybody likes. Also, though, things like socks and tote bags and purses and tumblers and dog toys, something for each and every one of you. Again, thank you to the Wine Girl, as well as each and every one of our sponsors that we have. Coming up next week, we will have Dot Fleshman on for our Friendship Friday, and she's one of our sponsors, along with Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa in Cottleville and O'Fallon. We've got Defiance Ridge in the Defiance Ridge Vineyards in the Defiance area, and Carroll House. Love them. Welcome them back. When we are on set, you see their beautiful furniture on our new set. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Wasn't he great? And I love the fact that he was from our area. Brandon Springman, thank you so much for spending some time with us. So that allows us for the last 10 minutes to talk a little bit. Think about that. For any of you that maybe you personally, or maybe you have a kid, or maybe you have a parent or your spouse or anybody in your life that suddenly gets that news that they are stricken with something that completely alters and changes their life. With Kimberly Akimbo, what plays out on stage, she's a young teenager, but as you see her going to school, looking 40, 50 years older than these teenagers, and that doesn't play out a lot because it's a rare illness that she has, like 1 in 500,000. But think of anything. Like, we recently celebrated World Down Syndrome Day, and it made me think back when I was in grade school and a friend of mine whose sister had Down syndrome. And so that's that first introduction of a kid to something that's unknown and how they work through that in their minds. Many times they get a bad labeling of how they are the worst human beings. Kids are so cruel, and a lot of bullying that takes place in life. Well, the reason why? It's unknown. But where does it start from, folks? Think about that. If they are bullying, do they pick it up at home? Do they pick it up on TV? Do they pick it up on a game that they're playing? What is feeding their little minds that makes them say the things that they say, to sting sometimes or feel like a dagger? Because it all is in the perception, which is a show we're going to do very soon. How does that person receive that? What's the perception of what that person is saying? Some people do the whole sticks and stones may break my bones, right? That whole mindset, but words will never hurt me. But for others, words sting so bad, words verbally given. Others, what is typed in social media, because remember, it's a whole nother level of bullying that's out there. And we've had past shows on bullying and how it is magnified now, unfortunately, for our children and for adults for that matter. A lot of bullying, so easy to hide behind the computer, sometimes faceless people that are out there and just being so cruel. I started the show by saying, wouldn't you be positive about the fact that the Cardinals won and the Clydesdales came out and it was opening day and the parade, the motorcade, and all the past players and current players? No, instead, you have all this negative. Well, this happened. You should have told them this. It's how we look at life. And so acceptance is a big part of life, ours or someone that we deeply love. Yes, very difficult to think of something like Kimberly Akimbo. And if you get a chance to go see it, please let me know what you think. But any level of life that takes it away from the way you would love your perfect life to be. Once you understand, though, and take that labeling of perfection out, then I think it starts to soften things. This is just my belief. And again, these are my opinions. I like when you interact and you let me know, how can we be more accepted in life? How can we get the cruelty to go away? How can you teach your children to not be the bully or to be the one that is bullied? How can they return the next day? How could Kimberly have gone to high school and dealt with that? Well, first of all, when you see her, and that's why it's art imitating life, when you see how she receives some of the messages or the staring or the body language, she meets Miguel's character, and those two, he doesn't see it. He does ask some things about, hey, they got a science project, as you heard me say, that they have to do, and somebody picks scurvy and somebody picks something else. And then he's like, why don't we pick your condition? Which first of all could sting, like, okay, now you're bringing it to attention. Now you're very aware that I've got a problem, but let's go ahead and dig down deeper into it. And once they have to deliver it, well, then it's all so real. And it becomes very hard for her to think of, yes, this is what I have to deal with. None of you understand. So then it's support groups that we have to surround ourselves with, or have our children go to, or have yourself go to. So what do you think about that? Any type of acceptance that needs to be out there. Feel free to drop a comment. Linda says a friend of ours just lost his eyesight. It's really making us assess our own life. I mentioned my dear friend Brian, which, by the way, people have been waiting for me to give an update. There are no reports yet of anything new to the story, and no new information about any services. I'm thinking that they're going to need to find a place that can hold thousands upon thousands, so we can all pay our respects to one of the most incredible human beings that ever walked the face of this earth. But it's also an investigation just to make sure that's all wrapped up, of what took place when he was walking home and was tragically taken from us. Acceptance, assessing your life, appreciating every second of every moment that you are given, the blessings, the breath that's in your lungs, hearing, as I said at the beginning, the birds chirping, looking outside and watching the bud break, watching the trees with no leaves on them right now that I'm looking out my window, but knowing what's to come, the appreciation of every moment we have with who you choose to share your life with. Start assessing that. Are you around drama? Toxic? Do you not like where you are currently in life? Can you make that choice to start changing things? Incremental changes to ultimately get you to where you're supposed to be. If you are in a miserable state of life, you're doing it to yourself, or you're allowing others. You're giving them power. So it's moving, shifting, whatever needs to be done. That's the reason I've been life coaching. It's the reason I personal train. I really, truly love giving back. I've got interns starting with me in May, and I can't wait to help teach what this field was that I came from and what it can become. It's just exciting. We should give our education to those that are getting ready to come into your field. Be proud to teach. Pay it forward, folks. Stephanie said, I have a second cousin, Grace. She has Down syndrome. She's a pistol. She's very athletic, loves music and dance. And you make me think of Grace Strobel, who I just featured in my story. And what an incredible human being, and the way she gives back and helps empower. Jenny says, I always say the most important work you will ever do starts at home. Stephanie, bullying is horrible. I never had that when I grew up. I was bullied. And I think everybody in some way probably had a touch of it. Sometimes you don't remember it because you suppress it. And then all of a sudden it comes back and you're like, oh my gosh, I was. But it was a short period of time for me, because somehow, some way, whether it was something spoken by my mom or dad or someone that was influential in my life, I started to realize I can only be hurt by that, right? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I finally realized they're just words. And in fact, it's coming from their own insecurities. A bully truly is one of the most insecure people that will ever walk the face of this earth. They don't really want to be seen. So that's why they bully, to take it and bounce it off of them so that you don't see what they're masking. You are who you surround yourself with. And you know how many times I've said that. In fact, take a look at the 5 people you surround yourself with. Maybe we'll go 6. I usually like to say 3. Look at the 3 people you surround yourself with on a regular basis, and you will become the sum of that. So is it good or is it bad? Think about those things. And that is what is so powerful. Well, we like to end every show with something positive, something to give you hope as you move forward. I want to tell you before we read, and yesterday we read from Jesus Listens. Today, I think he's calling on us. Before we do that, I want to call on all of you in our community and ask you at noon today, if you are not following Dude's Playground, I ask you to do so today, because Richard wrote me last night and said, can you do me a favor and ask everyone to follow, first of all, Dude's Playground, and then at noon today, he is super excited that he gets an opportunity to finally put all of his hard work into play, that he gets to sit down with the VA and talk about why he ever started Dude's Playground in the first place. So at noon, he is going to go live from the Dude's Playground page and talk to the organizer from the VA who made this really amazing thing happen. Again, the VA Medical Center, Jefferson Barracks Division Spinal Cord Injury Department, is bringing 3 of their veterans today for fishing. And he said, Monica, it just warms my heart. He said, and I quote, Monica, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what the 8 years of hard work has come to. Again, Dude's Playground. Please follow them. They will go live coming up in 4 hours as he sits down with the organizer from the VA who made this happen. He is so excited by this. And I'm excited, by the way. We're really going to start dropping in more and more information about this. The third annual, mark it on your calendar, third annual Dudes Playground Poker Run. And he said, I had no idea that you and Jim had never been involved in one. Here's what I love about his poker run. It is for motorcycles. It's for really cool classic cars, sports cars, or all vehicles, big Jeep clubs. I want to get all of you out there. I want this to be epic. So we need to give back to our veterans that have done so much for us. So they're going to have on June 21st a poker run at noon. It's going to be at 5301 Kaskaskia Road. This is Dudes Playground in Waterloo, Illinois. $10 per poker hand. All vehicles welcome. They're going to do a 50-50, free food, entertainment, and sparklers, a really cool display at 9:15. Now, there's a QR code right there on the screen. I know that all of you show up big time for those in our community. So let's show Dudes Playground and everyone on the board and everyone that's a part of this that our community is going to come out big time. What I need you to start doing from now through June is tell everyone you know, get their cars, get their sports cars, get their classic cars, show off your vehicles, get those Jeeps, get the motorcycles. We're going to broadcast live, kicking things off right at the beginning. Then we're going to rev up those engines and we're going to follow. Dudes Playground is where we're starting from. Richard will be leading the pack in his beautiful classic car. Jim and I and everyone else will be right behind as we go to 3 different stops. And then we come back and we have community. What I've always wanted, all of us coming together to show our veterans that what they've done for us matters. And we're going to raise money so he can continue the wonderful work that he has been doing for the last 8 years. Please, please, please tell everyone you know. You're going to be hearing me talk about it nonstop over the next few months. You're going to see it all over my social media pages. And I need all of us to share like crazy. Share, like, and follow as we always ask you to do our pages so you can hear about these incredible events that are coming up that we are thrilled to be a part of. All right. So again, one more time, mark it on the calendar. Tell everybody you know, June 21st at noon is when you have, we call it doors opening and then getting everything underway. And as you see there on the bottom, all vehicles welcome, which I think is really super cool. And I love that saying. We get it, right? What does that mean? They've been there. They understand. And everything you're going through, they've been through. He is a veteran. And I went on that USO. Whoa, that flight, that Greater St. Louis Honor flight was amazing. So I will be reaching out to my friends that are part of that. Again, just trying to get all families, all friends. If you've been, here's the deal. We should just have like hundreds upon hundreds that will be there that day. If you know somebody in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, whatever, come out, and this is your way of thanking because we're giving back to what they've done for us. All right, June 21st. Can't wait. All right, Jesus Calling. That's how we're going to wrap things up. It is Friday, March 28th. I can't believe we are starting April next week. Watch out, by the way. Tuesday is April Fool's Day. So what do we have planned? What do you all have planned? Start thinking about it. I am a God who gives and gives and gives. When I died for you on the cross, I held back nothing. I poured out my life like a drink offering because giving is inherent in my nature. I search for people who are able to receive in full measure to increase your intimacy with me. The 2 traits you need the most are being receptive and attentiveness. Kind of eerie that we just talked about that, right? Receptivity is opening up your innermost being to be filled with my abundant riches. Attentiveness is directing your gaze to me and searching for me in all your moments. It is possible to stay your mind on me, as the prophet Isaiah wrote. Through such attentiveness, you receive a glorious gift. And what is it? My perfect peace. Love it. And Marilyn, it was so good to hear from you yesterday. I was wondering how Marilyn was doing. She's the one that's given us those books. She's just such an incredible human being. Marilyn Westenberger. All right, last few comments before I let you know what's coming up next month. Thank you, Stephanie, for watching, right? We couldn't do it without all of you. Stephanie says, I will come. I love it. Come on out, June 21st. Just be there. Look at the cars if you're not going to travel with us in the poker one, and then maybe give a donation if you're not going to be in it. That's what it's all about. So he can continue the incredible work that he does every single day. Richard, I hope you have a wonderful day and can't wait to see what you talk about at your noon live. Okay, coming up next week, we will have Laura Beck and her sister Tracy Beck Presser on. Now, there's a scholarship that they're doing. So kids that are in lacrosse or any really athletic scholarship, they're doing this raising money to give back these scholarships to some incredible future athletes. And it's all to remember her son, unfortunately, that passed away from a pulmonary embolism. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But the focus of the show on Monday is, what do you do with something so tragic, as we were talking about in this show today, to honor them, honor their memory, and forever keep their name out there? So an incredible scholarship that we're going to talk about coming up on Monday's show. We also have Positive Talk Time with Jessica. We'll be back with her on Thursday. On Friday, we have Dot Fleshman with Coldwell Banker Gundaker. Friendship Friday, and Real Estate, our real estate extraordinaire. And then I'm working on a couple of other things for Tuesday's show. I've got a few people out there thinking that they may be joining us next Tuesday, but I don't want to say just which one yet, because I have offered that opportunity to a couple of different people. And then going into the following week, Gwendolyn Pleasant will join us. She's an author. We're going to talk about autism. And we haven't had a chance to talk about that in a long, long time. And then coming up on April 21st, I can't wait to feature this woman. Her name is Marie. And I want you to look it up. There is a journal called Girl of Prayer. I will be reviewing what I think of it. First of all, it's this big. So those of you that want journals, but the cool thing is there's so many different tabs and a lot of things that's faith-based and a lot of breakout opportunities for you, like workshop kind of a thing. She's got it all for you. And every little touch and every little detail matters in life, right? When you open it, first of all, the box is incredible. And then when you open it, it has the coolest bling bling pen that's in the little spiral part of the binder. Every part of it is amazing. So we'll let you know where you can get that. You might want to order it in advance before we have her on the show. Trust me, this is the journal you've been waiting for. Girl of Prayer. And Marie, I can't wait to have you on. Okay, it is 8:06. I want you all to have an amazing weekend. Again, grab that umbrella. You might need it this weekend if you are heading out. We will then come back to you on Monday at 7:00 from our studio. And then what I always ask you is, do you have a guest that you would like to be a part of our show? Do you have a topic that maybe I cover with you and it's you and I together? Would you like to come to workshops, retreats? There's so much we want to do with you. And then if you would like to become a sponsor of the show, whether it is once, whether it's monthly, whether it's a mobile Monica, there's so much we can do together. And all we need in life is you showing up, our sponsors allowing us to continue to do the wonderful work that we do. So thank you to Jenny Egan. Thank you to Zach Kimball, Michelle Harmon. I know a lot of you have been missing Michelle. She's still with us in some capacity, but Jenny's taken over. And then you're going to be introduced to some new interns that will be joining us in May. A lot to come. Maybe you want to be a part of the show. Maybe you've got kids that want to be a part of the internship. Shoot me an email at info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Go out on this beautiful day. Take a walk, movement. Take care of that mental, spiritual, physical side of life that I love to always talk about, the triangle of life theory. And when you're out and you meet somebody new, lock eyes with them. Be kind, give them a compliment, and change the course of their life. God bless you. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you Monday.